Hello, everybody. This is a French OG podcast, and I'm on here with Aruvin, who has the pleasure to join me from. Where are you based right now?
I am based in Barcelona in Spain right now.
All right. So you're in Europe. You went from what, California before you were?
Los Angeles, California, all the way to Spain. Yes, to Europe.
Oh, how come? I mean, present yourself to the audience because maybe they don't know who you are.
So, okay, my name's Arvin. I'm mostly on X. I have a presence on X. I share my dating strategies, dating experiences, dating tips, dating just basically philosophy and worldview to my audience. And I would say I have a red pill slant, but obviously I differ from classical red pill in a lot of important ways. And I think it's been good, growing an audience on X, and I'm grateful that there are a lot of people who want to hear what I have to say on a variety of topics, because I'm not one of those guys who just rehashes and regurgitates everything. I have a more nuanced take on a lot of different topics. So that's why I'm here,
Mhm.
to share my view, to share my insights.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I remember we did a podcast a while back, but to take out the video, and back then you had maybe. I mean, I know you when you first started. I saw that you had like 2,000 followers, and now you have
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
20?
I think when
20?
we did the podcast, I had like 2,000 or something like that. Now I'm at 20,000 ish.
Oh, good. Good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess whatever I've been saying, has been resonating.
How would you say that people recognize you as? Like, what would you say is kind of like your key trademark shit?
I think the most important thing is that what I'm sharing and what I'm advocating is very in tune with the current time. So if you read the red pill stuff, right, it's a generic framework, but it doesn't apply specifically to 2026. We're talking about 2026. We're in 2026 now. Uh, Things actually change from year to year, believe it or not. The red pill stuff, it mostly became popular in the 2010s. So when you talk about like, oh, alpha fucks, beta bucks, or the dual female strategy or whatever, I mean, I'm not saying they're wrong, but it's not as simple as that anymore in 2026 because things
Mhm.
change.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, but it's funny because the last pod I ran was someone that actually was a producer of Rolo back then, and we were talking about how Red Pill went from, let's say, empirical based, research, such as, but it was very much dating orientated, to becoming theorized and put into framework, and almost like and at that fixed stature, right? Using evolutionary biology and shit, and
Yes.
then and then now it's almost like it's starting to lose its effect because almost at a reflexivity, in a sense of, it's not only about the information, but how does the society or how does the players within the market change based upon the information that is being acted upon, right? So,
Sure.
and right now, what you're doing really is kind of like you're giving it some type of updated version, some
Yes.
DLC to
Yes.
it.
I mean, I have something to say about that because the red pill, this is not some classified secret society that only select men have access to. The red pill is all over the internet. And we always talk about dating dynamics and gender dynamics. And my take has always been that gender dynamics are adversarial. So what we
Hmm.
want is not what they want is not what we want. So if they get something from us, it is at our expense. And if we get something from them, it's at their expense. So
Hmm.
when you talk about that, and women have become largely quite aware of the red pill, the manosphere, MGTOW, and all that stuff. So they consume that stuff as well. They are aware. Uh, we
Yeah.
don't live in a vacuum, we don't live in an individual silo where, everything we talk about the red pill, only men consume it. So women consume that shit as well. So when women know that men are, for example, taking advantage of the alpha fucks, beta bucks thing, they know to react to that. For example, if they know that you're trying to be alpha fucks, they know to put up like, barriers, like defenses against that. So even if they like a guy, for example, they find him really hot and really irresistible, they'll be like, nope, I am not going to go over to your place. So they literally use their logic, their conscious mind to override their subconscious. That's because they're aware of the red pill and how men are using the red pill to advance their own interests. So if you're aware that men are doing that, then as a woman, you become more conscious of the need to override your subconscious, like to actively fight against your female instincts,
Hmm.
and basically just be more difficult so that you can safeguard your own interests. So that's what's happening now. And honestly, I don't hear anyone talking about it. I don't hear all these red pill gurus with like 100,000, 500,000, 1 million followers talking about it. Like I'm the only guy who's talking about it, that women have actually caught wind of the red pill. They have created their own red pill. I don't know what you want to call that. You can call that female dating strategy. You can call that woman red pill. You can call that what do they call it? Womanosphere, whatever you want to call it. The fact is that they've come up with their own uh counter ideology, and right now we have to come up with our own updated red pill as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, like with everything, it's almost you have like an old guard that may sound a bit boomerish, that may not necessarily actually be so much in the field, or just basically using red pill as some type of. And I was mentioning yesterday, not yesterday, but 2 days ago on the pod, like some type of R pass being a red pill as a service. Meaning by that, it's like it went from actually core teaching based upon empirical research to making money out of royalties of books or different type of production or YouTube videos, to the point that it has become subsidizing their lives so that they benefit from the red pill without actually doing anything outside that basically adds any value, but benefiting and using that to actually fuel hypergamy. And when you think even about the red pill, when you look at it, it's very much empowering hypergamy, right? By In order to react to what women's signals are, etc., etc. And then, funnily enough, and actually very congruent enough, it has nothing to do with actually owning your own frame. It's actually meeting whatever woman wants, because that's how you draw your value as a man, right? Anyway,
Sure, sure.
yeah.
That and I think that's why there's a like dichotomy between what guys like me are talking about and like you say the old guard, right? They're talking
Mm.
about I guess the fundamentals of the red pill, but they're like general fundamentals. They're not fundamentals that apply specifically to 2026.
Yeah, and what you mentioned earlier on the pod, which is basically that you went from LA to Europe, which is actually quite interesting because I'm based in London, right? And it's like I've been to continental Europe. I'm from continental Europe, hashtag France. So it's like surprise, surprise. But it's like, and I've been in London for 16 years, so I've seen the change
Okay,
in
okay.
dynamics, right? So I've seen the change in dynamics. I've gotten way more experience in London than in France, for example. But I'd be very curious, especially with the strategy that you used in the US. How did it work in Europe? Like, did you find any differences, or did you find, whether it is your strategy, but also in terms of women, like what are key things that be like, hold on, this is different here. And maybe not, it may not necessarily be a timeline thing, but more cultural gap stuff.
Okay. There's so many things I could say.
Please go ahead. You have full mic.
Okay, so the first thing about American versus European dating is that American dating is a lot more oriented towards things you can measure, things you can observe. So it's going to be your status, your money, your career, your looks, and your body. Um, so basically, things that is either visible or measurable. So in America, it's very objective, right? You can behave as if you're playing a video game and you're increasing your HP, your EXP, and all these different metrics. And if you do well in that and you approach women, you probably get the result you want. In Europe, it's like I'm not saying they don't care about your looks or your money or your body or whatever. They do, but I don't think the emphasis is so strong on that. From my experience, and then again, I've only been here for 3 months now, but I mean, 3 months is a
Phew.
lot if you're going out like 4 nights a week like me. Um, they care a lot more about the romance, the feeling, the process. They want everything to unfold like a fairy tale even if they want to have sex. I mean, everyone is thinking about sex. Everyone's thinking about hooking up. Everyone's thinking about, getting with the people that they're attracted to. But in America, you can say like, you know what, come over to my place. Let's watch some Netflix. Maybe we can drink some wine. Maybe we could cook a steak together. And that generally would fly if they have been texting with you and they like your pictures and everything. In Europe, not so much, because in Europe, and by that I mean Spain, right? Because I'm in Spain.
But have you
In
been in any other places other than Spain in Europe, or you just stayed
I
in
mean, I
Spain?
have, but I haven't dated there, so there's a big
Yeah.
difference, right? I mean, if I just go to Germany for a vacation, what does that mean? That means
All
nothing.
right.
So I've been dating in Spain, and the thing is that in Spain, and I'm not just talking about Spanish girls, I'm talking about just European girls in general, because Barcelona is a very
Barcelona.
cosmopolitan city, probably like London as well.
Mhm.
So in my experience, you can't just like say, "Oh, come and watch some Netflix." To them, it's considered a bit like too clumsy, almost like there's no finesse, there's no subtlety to that. It's not smooth at all. So they want to do it, but they don't want to feel like a super slut by going along with your program like that. So your job in Europe is more like it's almost like you're a movie director. You have to plan
Yeah.
and premeditate everything in a very smooth way that doesn't trigger their anti-slot defenses. And it has to be smooth. It has to be you can't just go it can be like on the nose. So if you want to like all the lays I've had so far in Europe, like it feels very organic. It feels like you can retell the story to a good friend or even a female relative and they won't judge you for it. So as a guy, that is your job here, I would say. If you want to get laid consistently, it can't be like direct, like very direct in America. Like what works in America doesn't necessarily translate well to Europe. In America, you can be like, "Oh, why don't you just come over for a while?" And in America, fuck, I've even said like, "Oh, let's come over and I'll fuck you right now." I've said that and it has worked. I can't imagine that ever working in Europe. So
I
in
mean,
Europe, there's a lot of
yeah.
plausible deniability. You need to um sort of like construct a storyline, and that is your job as a guy here is to basically make the girl not feel like a slut so that she can sleep with you um without feeling like she has made a conscious decision to sleep with you. More like one thing naturally progress to another, finally to the guy's place. And they do it because it felt so right, so natural. That's
Yeah.
my take. I mean,
I mean,
I obviously other people will have different opinions, but that's my take. That's my feel right now.
well, I'll say that I go with your feel stuff, because even myself, I've noticed, like when I basically when I offer for a girl to come straight to mine, is because I want to basically get rid of her. I'm not like because I
Right?
know it's not gonna work,
You know it's
and
not gonna
I've
work most
yeah,
of the time.
even in the countries that is more US friendly, such as the UK, right? In terms of
Mhm,
mentality,
mhm.
it's important. Everything is about the narrative. Like to me, it's like that's something. I'm surprised by even the scope and the level to which American can be as transactional and as because technically it's even transactional when for me, and that you bring a girl straight back to yours, even though you don't pay, it feels transactional, and it's almost like the girl be
It
like, oh yeah,
feels
whatever.
it feels very transactional. In
You
fact,
you can you can yeah you can just put some nice word, but at the end of the day, the act of going straight to
yep, it feels very transactional, very forgettable, very unmemorable. It feels like you're calling over a prostitute just without the payment. So
so it's like we call it dig dash or pussy dash, it's same shit.
yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And I'm one because I lived in America for what 2 years. Then I traveled few times to America.
Where'd you live?
It's like San Francisco for 2 years, and then
Okay,
well, technically San Rafael. It was not really
okay.
San Francisco. It's
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah, yeah.
just on the bit.
Okay.
Anyway, and then I went to Chicago. I went to Vegas. But what I was shocked was even in my interaction with people, it's like everything has to be monetized. Everything has to be,
Yep.
like it's like time is money and everything. And I'm coming from a European background of all places, France, the country, lifestyle country. So I hear like American. I was like, I remember I was in Vegas. I mean, I was a complete noob, right? I was a complete noob, and and because I played poker, and I played poker, and I paid my university with poker and shit. So it was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to bars and have drinks and whatnot, right? And then basically chit chat some girls. And they were all prostitutes, as I was, the, and then on top of that, they were far from being European level, and they were charging like $600, $800. I'm like,
Yep,
do I look
yep,
like a
yep,
fucking John? I was like,
yep.
you're a six at best, and you're telling me that it was $600? Hell
Yeah.
nah, fuck this shit.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
so it's like for me when you tell me this, it's like European. I felt like I can't live in America because of this, because I've got so much more of a non-transactional, non-monetizable approach to life. And that's something that I know when you tell me this is very interesting, because you have the opposite side. You're like, holy shit, things are organic here. I quite like
Yes.
that. In terms of sorry, in terms of the looks of women, do you find they're better looking in America? I mean, you're in California, LA, right? Do you find they're better looking in Europe? Like, tell me.
My God. Oh. Okay, so first of all, I would say like the BMI of the ladies here are like way lower. Like in Europe, any European city, and this one I can say because I've been to only three European countries so far. I've been to Spain, France, and Andorra. And just literally walking down the center of the city, you see like hotties just walking everywhere in Europe. In America, not so much. In America, you see like fat women walking around everywhere. And the problem is, if you're fat but you're humble, it's okay, but they're fat and they think that they're the shit. So that's one thing. In Europe, they're way skinnier. And the second thing is in Europe, I think they take care of their appearance a lot more. People actually dress up in Europe. Um, the girls do their makeup, and they are very uh concerned about their appearance. I'm not saying American girls are not. I'm just saying that the average American girl is a slop. She would wear pajamas out on the streets. Um, they're feminists, but like in a different way. In a feminist, and like fuck you, I'll do whatever I want, and they'll present themselves as very unkempt in America in general, right? Of course, there are hot girls in America, but they're not the norm. I'm saying in Europe, it is the norm. Like in Europe, you're just walking. I'm just walking on the streets in Barcelona, even my own neighborhood, just walking downstairs. Holy shit, a hottie! I would. You know what I mean? So what I notice is that my taste has changed because the average is so hot here, such that if I go to a party, if I go to a gathering, I go to an event, and I see like a mid girl, if I were in America, right, I would have
Hmm.
approached the mid girl because,
Hmm.
that's the standard in
Yeah.
America. Here, I couldn't be arsed. I'd be like, you're mid. I'd probably say hi and bye to you, but, if you expect me to like gesture for you and riz you up, like that ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? So the
Yeah.
the average standard around you changes your own standard, yeah, your own what you're looking for.
It's like I say, if someone tells me it's like I want to, I want to bang harder chicks. It's like, what do I need to do? It's like, well, go to the right places.
Yeah.
It's not me
Absolutely,
having better games. It's like it's as simple as that. Hey, I'm not gonna be
absolutely.
just go to the place where they are there, right? It's like, you know, you see some. Uh, so just going back to what you were saying, right? It's interesting you say this, because I was thinking, what, maybe LA is not that bad. It could be, it could compete with Europe, but no, you're telling me it's like it's just slopperland.
Well, LA is a very big city, right? If you compare European cities to American cities, the scale is different. LA is like 12 times the size of Barcelona, for example.
Hmm.
So it really depends where you hang out in LA a lot. There are hotties, but we're talking about the average. If I go into a mall in America versus a mall in Europe, totally different. Like the quality is totally different. Sure, there are some hotties in America, but they're not the norm. In Europe, they're the norm. That's what I'll say. Even in LA, New York, whatever places you want to go. I don't know, something wrong with the lifestyle or the diet or the food or the water supply. I don't know. Something's wrong in America.
I'll tell you what's wrong. It's like you're the fucking quantity of shit. Like I go and get a steakhouse in America. I'm like having this, and I'm a greedy fucker, right? I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
this
yeah.
is too much. It's like if you want to get a Gatorade, or not only it's full sugar, but it's like you look at the fucking thing, and it's like no fucking wonder you're all like fucking massive and shit. Like
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and the amount of sugar. I mean, look, don't get me wrong, I love
Uh,
Butterfingers, and I love like I mean even Taco Bell. Like, I mean, like it's so much shit, man. I mean,
yeah,
I know
absolutely.
m- my parents were when I mean myself, my parents when we were there for 2 years, we all went fat in 2 years, right? And then we had to well, then we went then a
Yeah,
few
yeah,
months
I
in
can
France we were
imagine.
down.
I
Yeah,
can imagine.
so
The portion
and
sizes for everything, the food and the drink is just is off the charts in America. It's too much. It's
all
too
right,
much.
so let me ask you this: are you gonna stay in Europe knowing that you've got all this,
Sure.
or are you gonna go back
I
to
mean,
the
at first, I mean, during my first month here, I'm like, okay, let's just stay for a couple of years and see if we can adapt. And but right now, I have a long-term visa, and the longer I stay, I mean, the more sure I am that I'm gonna stay for the long term. So I might go back to America for like short trips here and there. But other than that, I'll this is my base. Yeah.
okay? And what originally led you to come to Europe?
It's a combination of factors, right? So I recently became a US citizen. It was just
Hmm.
last year. And before that I couldn't travel for various reasons. So I only got my US passport the middle of last year. So obviously that's one reason. So I've been living in America sort of like against my will almost for about 10 years. So I was itching to travel overseas, not just travel overseas, but to try living overseas. That's one thing. The other thing is that um during COVID I started a business, and then in the years after COVID, the business did pretty well. So I realized that, you know what, I actually have the ability to just go anywhere. I don't have to limit myself to LA because I'm not clocking into an office in LA. The third thing is I was getting a little bit older, and I realized that, you know what, it's if I don't do this right now, when I hit 40 or 50, I'll probably regret it. So I did it, and I even rushed it as quickly as I could. And here I am right now.
All
Yeah.
right. So also now thinking about, so you were talking. I want to loop back to the dating dynamics that you've seen in the US, right? I think, I mean, I'm maybe taking the words out of your mouth, but please feel free to reframe whatever I say, which to whichever sauce you want to do. But from what you're telling me is, well, what you were kind of like touching upon just earlier was the fact that you felt there was a lot more that women were way more power or control focused or orientated within the dating, and that was in the States, and that's can you confirm that and then expand? And do you find that it's also the same thing in Europe, or you feel it's a bit different?
No. Okay. So I'll give you an example, right? In America, it is very like it is very popular among girls to insist on dinner dates, for example. I mean,
Hmm.
like, what do you take me off? I'm not just gonna go on a couple of drinks with you. I'm not just gonna come over to your place. I'm not gonna do a walk in the park with you. I mean, like, if you want to take me out, you have to take me out on a proper date. It's the bare minimum, right? To
Okay.
take them out on dinner.
Even for mids and whatnot, right? Everyone, like every girl, not like, because here we can see, like here, for example, it's like if she's an 8, 9, 10, it's kind of like part of the, it's almost like part of the package. But usually the 6, 7, 5s, they're just like you don't need that. But is it all across the board, the dinner date shit?
You're talking about in America?
Yeah, in America.
In 2026, it's becoming like the norm. I'm not saying that it's becoming the norm that guys are doing it. It's becoming the norm that the girls are expecting it. Okay, this is just
Yeah.
an example. So American dating, like I said, it's very objective, right? It's based on all your different metrics. It's also based on what you're giving her and what she's receiving in turn. So she'll measure, oh, did he take me out on a dinner date? Uh,
Hmm.
did he pick me up, or did he order an Uber for me? So all these things, it's very, very transactional, like you say in
Hmm.
America. Like no matter how we try to dress it up, in America is always just a negotiation, and there's very little romance. Like what does dinner have to do with anything, right? But American girls, they see it as like the holy grail nowadays because so few guys are doing dinner anymore. Guys are becoming smart. They're like, Okay, well, why should I invest so much? I don't even know you, I haven't even met you, so let's just do coffee or drinks. But girls are becoming very
Yeah,
agitated.
it's become like some type of ego trip.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. To them, it's like it's all about power and control, and they wanna hold the frame. They want to control the interaction. In Europe, I've never encountered a single fucking girl who is like, you know, let's go for dinner or let's grab something to eat. Like they don't even mention it. I don't mention it. It's not an expectation. They know that this is not something you do unless you're like boyfriend and girlfriend. Um, they would grab a drink with you. They would go on a walk on the beach with you. Um, they would go to a park with you. They would. I mean, from all the girls I've interacted with, they would. To them, that's perfect. But it's just pros and cons, right? With American girls, it's sort of like if you do everything right objectively, you'll probably get laid. European girls, it's about how romantic and how natural you have crafted the narrative. And if you've done a good enough job, then they'll go along with you. But if you've not done a good enough job, they feel that it's not subtle enough. They feel like it's a bit clumsy or you're rushing it. Then no, they're not gonna go with you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, it actually teaches you a little bit more about seduction, about the
Sure,
softer skills. But
sure.
it's
You
interesting
see,
when you look. Yeah, go on. Sorry,
yeah,
you
no,
want to
yeah,
say something?
yeah. I mean that actually reminded me of something. Like in America, it's not about seduction. In America, like when I was in America, I always talked about like, oh, you only have to text about logistics. You approach them directly, you keynote them, you touch them, and then you ask them over. Like you'd be very direct, almost like autistic. Like you're just this like
Hmm.
macho guy, and you're
Yeah.
like alpha male, and you're autistic girl. You want to go back to my place like that. That doesn't work here. So here you have to be like almost like Don Juan, like Casanova. You have to literally press her buttons and be very smooth, very suave, very it's like America, you can say anything like just short of like wanna fuck, right? You can just say
Yeah.
like, wow, let's find out in our bedroom or whatever. You can say any stupid shit like that. Here it don't fly. Here you really gotta be very smooth. And right now, it's like I'm starting to build up a skill set that I've never had to build up, which is
Hmm.
seduction, like you say. There's no better
Hmm.
word for it, but it's seduction. You have to learn how to press a girl's buttons. You must learn how to slowly raise her temperature and just basically put her in the state of mind where she's relaxed, where she doesn't feel that she's being judged for sleeping with you. And most importantly, the story must make sense in her head. So like I always say, most important thing is that she must be able to retell the whole story to her friends and her family without being judged whatsoever. American girls, they don't give a fuck. American girls, like, they'll fuck you and they'll keep quiet about it and they'll pretend they never did anything. But yeah,
It wasn't
European
me.
girls, no. The story must make sense in their head.
People don't understand me when I'm talking about the narrative. I fucking love the narrative, but on me, not on them, right? I mean, but you have to learn to do that. But it's interesting. You're going. You want to say something? I want
Yeah.
spitball, spitball. You go on, go.
I'm sorry that I keep
No, no,
interrupting
no.
you
Please,
because
please, 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 please,
every time
please.
you say something that I'm like tip of my tongue, like, yes,
Go
yes,
ahead, go
yes.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Like you're right. Like the narrative. Let's talk about the narrative, right? The narrative, I used to think that it's like an annoying thing that only like, oh my God, I have to do all the heavy lifting so as not to trigger your anti-slut defenses.
Hmm.
Like so that the narrative makes sense in your head. But then you know what? I realized that when the narrative makes sense in her head, it feels a lot better for me too. It feels like I'm falling in love. It feels like it's very organic, very natural. I feel alive, you know?
Yeah.
Like in America, I could hook up with 10 girls on Twitter, swipe, 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 swipe. The same text, the same lines, the same openers, and then the same format where they come over, we watch Netflix for an hour, I make my move, we fuck, and then she goes back. It's not memorable. It feels very transactional. It feels like I say, ordering a prostitute without the payment. You don't remember anything. You don't feel anything, actually. You don't feel anything. But when the narrative makes sense, which is when it happens naturally. So first of all, when it happens naturally, it rarely ever happens the same way. So you can't use the same blueprint with every single
Yeah.
girl and it unfolds the same way. It happens differently each time. Each girl will react differently. Uh, so there's a whole mating dance in Europe. In America, the girls are like not feminine and they're all power hungry, so there's no mating dance whatsoever. They're gonna demand upfront what they want, you know? And then if you go along with them, you lose the frame war, and then most likely you're not gonna fuck them anyway. So in
Yeah.
America, it's all about frame. In Europe, it's more about game.
Yeah. It's interesting because and I'll make the comparison, right? It's like the equivalent of the dinner date, right? For women to guys is basically the straight to the home house date for man to woman, right? And here it seems like in Europe, and I'd say that it's actually way more. I think there needs to be a distinction being made between, let's say, Latin Europe, so continental Latin Europe, so it's about Italy, Spain, France, Portugal, those, like even Greece, all, like all the Mediterranean countries. It's like it's more there's more a bit of that soft touch romance, right? You go to the Eastern Bloc, it's much more autistic or much more transactional. Even like it's like, and the UK is kind of a mix in between the US and Europe, and it's like you have a bit of that transactionalism, not as much as the US from what you're telling me, because it's like it seems like really like a bunch of, and it's like, and the funny thing is for me, I'm the one that be like, I start very chill and everything, and it's like, and I'd make it non-transactional whatsoever, and then when the girl be start going transactional, I'm like, oh, like the girl says, "What I'm just like, no, that's not for me." And it's like it's the girls that actually are kind of like more transactional than I am, and it's quite it's you can see how off-putting that is now from a guy's perspective.
Absolutely.
And now you see, it's like the trade to the home day is kind of like you're just basically ordering a delivery flashlight. You don't. It's not fun, right? And it's
Sure.
like it's almost, and it's quite funny because I think you changed. I mean, I don't know, like in terms of your view on things. Tell me.
So the home date thing, right? When you're used to going out with girls like multiple nights and then not taking them home, it sounds like a dream come true where you order to go home and do it. And I do believe that every guy should have a phase where they just rack up the bodies as much as they can through whatever means necessary. And the home date is the easiest way to do that. So I wouldn't advise guys to skip that if they have the
Hmm.
opportunity for that.
Hmm.
Nowadays in 2026, I'm not saying the home date is not possible anymore. It's definitely possible, but it's more difficult than the 2010s when, Tinder just came out. Um, but after a while, when you've been doing home dates for a while, I've been doing home dates for like so 2015 to 2019. I just
Hmm.
executed that motherfucker until I was like, holy shit. I mean, like enough is enough. Like 4 years is a long
Yeah.
time. So after that, I was seeking like not necessarily to increase my body count by any means necessary, but I care more about the interaction, you know?
Hmm.
I want stuff that I can remember, stuff that will
Yeah.
make me feel alive, will get the adrenaline pumping. Um, and I talk about this concept called happy maxing, right? Happiness is really just four hormones, right? We have endorphin, serotonin, oxytocin, and dopamine. So when you do DoorDash sex, you activate dopamine and endorphin, right? But you don't really have the bonding hormones like oxytocin and serotonin. But
No
when you,
build up. No build
yeah,
up, basically.
yeah, you build up. So when you're doing like organic stuff, you're bonding with the girl, you're hugging her, you're kissing her, you're touching her. That actually activates a different reward center in your brain. I mean, I'm not a psychologist or a doctor or anything like that, but I can tell how I feel. So when you're doing DoorDash sex, it's like, okay, you get all the dopamine hits, but you don't bond with the girl, right? You don't feel the serotonin or the oxytocin levels rising in your body. You don't feel that glow, that happiness, that relaxed feeling. So that's one thing. I try to be more holistic in my approach towards women because once I've had the bodies, right, I realized that, okay, do I really want to come all the way to Europe and just do the same thing again as I did in America? Even if it's possible, I mean, like that's not what I'm looking for right now. That's why ever since I've been in Spain, I haven't even downloaded Tinder yet. I haven't even downloaded any dating app. I've just been going out every night, not every night, but like as many
Yeah,
nights as
yeah.
I can in a night. A city like Barcelona, I don't know what it is like in other European cities, but a city in Barcelona, there's always stuff happening all the time, you know, and all these events or all these gatherings or whatever you want to call it, they're like soft dating events. You know, nobody uses the word dating or meet women or anything, but
Oh.
the men know,
Hangouts.
the women
Yeah.
know, they're there to mingle and like uh they do have, I would say they have the intention of meeting guys and going back with guys if the vibe is right. That's actually quite good compared to America, where the girls are like very, so the women here haven't like totally despised men compared to like America. Like in America, I
Yeah.
feel like the women treat men as the enemy. They're like super hostile. It's the dating environment is like super low trust. Everything is about like, oh, what can you give me? You know, what are you offering me? Like, why should I go out with you? I mean, like, you should do the bare minimum, right? It's very angry, very hostile, very demanding and entitled. Europe is like sure, it's harder to sleep with them, I would say, but if you do everything correctly, you will be rewarded. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And like you say, maybe it's a Latin Europe thing. I heard that in Scandinavia, girls are as loose as in America. I heard in places like Germany, they are also very loose, but that's my experience right here in Spain.
Yeah, I think it's a function of feminism. If you look at and Protestant feminism, if you look at Germany or even Scandinavia and all that, they're very much like that. UK as well, US as well. But point being is, I think also, I mean, there's a difference with Catholic, which just has France, Spain,
Sure.
Italy, all that. You know, like those are
Sure.
kind of like cultural type of changes. But the thing is, it's funny because I find that you're please don't take offense by this, but softer in your just general outlook on things, not as harsh. Is it? Is it?
Mm,
Is it?
yeah.
Maybe the environment has helped you kind of like, or maybe the I don't know, just kind of like siesta. You do la siesta.
I really think it's the environment. I really think it's the environment.
Yeah.
It's the women. I mean, you don't want to adopt a harsh stance on anything because you don't want to be inflexible. When it comes to like dating, um, it takes two to tango, first of all. You can be like, oh, I'm the frame king. I will not budge anything. I mean, you can, but if they will not budge as well, then you are at an impasse, you know? You're not gonna meet any women, you're not gonna fuck any women. So you have to be like Bruce Lee, right? Be like water. You know, you have to take the shape of the container. If you're placed in a different container, you have to take a different shape of the container. When you talk about frame, I have like the hard line and the soft line, for example. So the
Hmm.
soft line in the sand is like there's a hard line in the sand which I will never change, regardless of what planet I'm on. And then there's a soft line in the sand where I am willing to move back and forth to accommodate my environment and the women that I'm around. So for me, hardline, for example, would be she must have sex with me by the first date, right?
Hmm.
That's a hard line. I will not
Hmm.
budge on that.
Hmm.
What I would budge on is, for example, the format of that first date. We could be outside,
Hmm.
we could be at a restaurant. I mean, I try not to, but the good thing is European girls don't expect that. We
I
can
mean,
be at the
and you
beach.
have tapas. It's not
Or
really restaurants, in Spain.
what's
Tapas
that?
place, tapas place. It's not really
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
restaurant.
I mean, you can have some tapas. You know, it's not
Yeah.
much. The thing is that you have to know what your hard line is and what your soft line is. So if you don't have any hard line, then you're, well, for lack of a better term, you're just a sim, right? You have no frame. Uh, eh, eh, Whatever the girl says goes with you. So it's important to have the hard line, but also it's important to know what is a soft line, like what is not like a super like, not everything is a deal breaker, right? So if on Twitter, people always say like, "Oh, you got to jester max, you got to be a clown for the girl," and yes, if that's what it takes, then if that's what you have to do, then
The thing is,
you got to be pragmatic about it.
I think it's like, it's the same. I think that's where gesturing, maxing. I think that people put everything that involves one tiny bit of effort, and like you basically discovered, say, well, it's like, do you really feel your gesture when you actually go out and actually enjoy the time that you spend with the person? Not really.
Yep, yep,
You only
yep.
look at it gesturing because most likely you've not done it, or you've done it in the wrong way, and then you feel that you were too outcome dependent, and then you feel like a shit, like shit because you got, and then you just you complain. Yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, yeah. Outcome dependence. I want to talk about that. I used to be very outcome focused, which is that if I feel like I go out and I don't go back with a girl, for example, I don't bring back a girl, I feel like a fucking loser and I feel fucking mad. And I'm starting to like change on that. I'm starting to evolve a little bit on that. Because right now nowadays, if I go out to somewhere, I go out to a place, I go out to a venue. I deliberately pick something that is like super enjoyable already. Like even if there's zero girls there, I would have a blast. So I try to go to things like salsa classes, right? I mean, I don't really like dancing, but I like learning to dance, you know? I go to stuff like, okay, the salsa classes, I go to karaoke night. Okay, karaoke night is like fucking cheat code because, karaoke is not really about like how well you can sing, but it's about the energy, if people feel that you're happy, you're going all out, you're like, you're like, giving it your best shot, the girls notice, the girls feel it, and then every time after I go to karaoke night, I sing one or two songs, preferably something that's like quite challenging, right? Like I like to sing rock songs. I like to sing like Aerosmith, Bon Jovi, stuff like that, stuff that go, yeah, makes you go like that, right? After that, you have one or two good performances. You talk to the girls, they react differently. Like
Because you put your
almost
energy.
like they see you as a celebrity or a rock star. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
the
no, but
same effect, but on a smaller level.
even just the energy you come out of it is great. It's like, it's the same thing as the woman. Like, think about it this way, right? Like, if you're a guy that'd be like, I just want to have a straight head to the house date. It's like there's the same energy of the woman. I just want to have like a straight to the dinner
Yeah,
date.
yeah,
And it's like it's
exactly.
not really fun. And it's
It's
like you
not
go
fun at
and
all.
and
From
then
either side, it's not fun. Yeah.
exactly,
So I try to
and
do
you
stuff that I enjoy. Like I say, I go to clubs. I can't really dance, or I can dance. It's just that I don't think I'm super good at it, but I really get into it. And so few guys, when you go to a club, right? Every time I go to a club in Spain, I see the guys just holding their drinks, just standing around, like talking among each other, standing on the periphery of the dance floor. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, like, this is the best place for you to peacock, to get noticed by women. And you're standing around holding your fucking beer. Like, what are you doing, So my thing is that you have to go out to places and things and do things that you really enjoy. So, for example, I can even go to places like a comedy night, right? A stand-up comedy show. And if you get heckled on by the comedian, for example, as you know, comedians like to pick up people.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that you can get noticed by girls as well. I've get noticed at like comedy shows just because they heckle me. I mean, like the comedian make fun of me, and then I made fun of him back. For example, you have a clever
Yeah.
comeback. So there are so many activities. I don't know what cities that people live in, but there are so many activities that you can go out where even where if you don't have sex at all, it would still be like a massive roaring success. So you should go do things that you enjoy in the first place. That's the most important thing, because you don't want to be one of those guys. Because I've met guys when I go to these places where I go to have fun, and I ask them like, So what's up? Why are you here?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm looking for girls." I'm like, "Okay, so are all of we." But he's not doing anything. He's just standing there, and he's like just looking and eye scanning, like trying to find targets. I'm like, that's probably not gonna work, because
That's lame.
yeah,
That's
you give
lame.
out that needy energy, you give out that energy that you're just here for one and only one thing. You're not having fun. You're not giving out a good energy. And girls notice that. Girls notice guys who are just standing around looking for targets. And if you're one of those guys, and then even if you approach a girl later, she's probably not going to react well to you, because you're bringing a very closed off energy. Like you want something from her, and she feels stressed out just interacting with you. So I try not to go out with that kind of energy and that kind of mindset. I try to go out with the mindset that, and in fact, on the nights where I feel like, okay, it's not gonna happen, then oh shit, it happened. I mean, I don't know if there's a causal link, but I'd like to think it's because I carry a consistently positive and good energy throughout the night, and then when I approach a girl, it just happens kind of naturally from there. So you don't have to be like laser focused, like like a heat-seeking missile, where you're like just looking for girls to hit on. Talk to everyone, talk to
Yeah.
guys, talk to girls, talk to the staff, talk to everyone. So all that is like it's working in the background to increase your social status and your social proof. If you go talk to everyone and everyone is talking to you back, not just girls, and I want to talk about girls specifically later, which is that if you go and talk to everyone, and then girls actually pay attention to which guys are like popular, which guys are sociable, which guys are like the social butterfly of the party. If she sees you going around and talking to everyone as everyone is like engaging back to you, everyone's laughing at you, everyone has a good energy with you, and you have a good energy with them as well, and then you go and approach them, your chances of success goes way higher because you have already DHV'd your entire time over there. So by the time you go to her, she's already like 80% sold. So that's very important. Social proof, DHV, yeah.
But the thing is, all of it, and it seems like Spain is making you happier. Going back to Happy Max thing, but the thing is, like you don't even need to be that great on techniques, right? Like the mechanics and everything. If you have good energy, you go in there, you go to you talk to guys. People don't think talk to guys. Actually, guys are very friendly, And then basically, even what I don't know if you've done that before, but just merge groups of guys with groups of girls. But only and then you don't know where it goes. But you know what you mentioned, why narrative is so important to me. The best nights are the one that you don't know how it's gonna end. You have no plans, and then you just merge with a group, merge with another one, and that's what's so great about Europe, I find, versus America, is the fact that because a lot of time, like places like Barcelona, I've been to Barcelona, everything is walking distance. So it's
Yeah,
like everything can be done so easily. And the bars is different. Like, for example, you go to a bar in the US, it's like everything is almost like table service, right? Whereas there's
yes,
more mixing and
yes,
matching in Europe with bars. Yeah.
yes.
Sorry, please go on.
Yes. No, I was saying that okay, when you're talking to people, okay, first of all, the format of the bar is different. In America, you have a lot of booths, and
Hmm.
because you have a lot of booths, then there's not a lot of mingling. There's not a lot of combining tables. In Spain, it's very common, right? Like if you don't know a bunch of people, you combine table, you talk to each other, you shake hands, and then you can come together. You can do whatever. You can chit chat. You can play like drinking games, stuff like that. That's a very good icebreaker. Um, in America, it's very siloed, right? So just because of the format of the bar, you have like a lot of what do you call that? Like those booths, those individual tables. And because of that, a lot of people go to bars in groups already. So they have their own friend group. But in Barcelona, a lot of people go alone. So you like if you go to a club in America or a bar in America, it's impossible, almost impossible to find a girl who's there alone. You go to Barcelona, like 50% of the girls are there alone. They're just there out to meet people. And that's great because everyone has the same intentions. If you go to a place where everyone's in their own cliques and their own friend group and they're not welcoming or open to having like other people join in, then that's not a good thing. The other thing is that if you want to, this is a cheat code personally for me. If you want to really DHV and show your social proof in a new place, all you have to do is just riz up one girl, riz her up for like 30, 40 minutes, make her laugh. Bonus points if she's like playfully hitting you. Bonus points if you can touch her and she doesn't recoil and she goes along with it. When you do stuff like that, the girls, all the other girls around you actually take notice. They do. I mean, we guys, we don't give a fuck, right? Who's flirting with whom? Who gives a shit? But girls, they do care. Girls, they pay attention who's rizzing who up, and they actually give you more points if you are seen rizzing up other girls. So what I usually do is that if I go to a party, if I go to a gathering, I try to rizz up a girl first, and if I feel that she's at a high point, I ask her to go home with me. If she doesn't want to go home with me, that's fine. I slowly disengage from her, and then I approach another girl.
Mhm.
But by the time I approach the second girl, she'll be like, "Well, I saw you with that Polish girl. I saw you with that Ukrainian girl. You guys seem to be chatting up real well. Well, she didn't know I just got rejected for my house for taking her home. But in her eyes, I'm like a god. You know, I'm like a god with women, and now the god with women has chosen her specifically to approach. You know, so
Yeah.
it's like I say, by the time you approach her, she is already like 75-80% sold. Game and social game have like way different dynamics. I'm still learning as I go along, obviously. I mean, I've only been here for 3 months, like I said, but this is something completely new to me because, like I said
Mhm.
previously, I'm more of a dating app guy. Swipe, swipe, swipe,
Mhm.
swipe, swipe, build up the bodies. But right now, I mean, if you say that I look happier, then I guess I am.
No, you don't
Every
look. You sound happier in the sense
Okay,
of
okay, I
you
sound happier.
sound, and
I
you're
sound
talking about
happier.
happy
So
Mexic. You're talking about happy Mexic. I'm sorry if I was a bit presumptuous. You know.
no, 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 no. I think you're right. I think you're actually right because like it might sound stupid. It might sound stupid, but right now I get laid less than in America because in America I was pushing like crazy volume, because of the apps. You know, the apps is like crazy. But right now here I get laid less. I start even doing stuff that I wouldn't do in America, which is like turning hookups into like FWB. Like right now, I have two friends with benefits. So I have a rotation for the first time in my life, which I would never do in America because in America I would always sleep with new girls. And it's really nice. It's really nice, you know. Like we go to places, we do stuff together. We also have sex, of course. Like that is my heart line in the sand. You know, we must be having sex. Um, but when you go out at night anything can happen. Like anything can happen. It's that open-ended possibility that keeps you intrigued, keeps you curious, keeps you excited about what the night might bring. Yeah, it's very, very, very different.
It's open world game, not like a linear game. You know, it's like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
well, we go into
Open
the
world.
map.
Anything can happen. And you know, the girls might react to you in any way. So it's all your game. It's all your seductive ability, lack of a better
And
word. Yeah.
and what made you decide Barcelona over any other places in Europe before you went there?
Okay, so I do know that I want to come to Spain for sure because if I'm going to learn the language, then I want to learn the language that will open up doors to many different countries that I care
Mhm.
about, and that would be the Latin American countries. So I want
Mhm.
to be fluent in my Spanish first, uh, and then so it has to be Spain. Second of all, Madrid versus Barcelona. I feel like okay, first of all, it has to be a big city. I'm not gonna be caught, you know, like living in like Malaga, Cadiz, or something like that, right? Um, I mean, no offense. I mean, I'm just saying I'm a big city kind of guy. Like, I need that energy.
Oh.
I need that population density. I'm not gonna be, you know, caught in somewhere like Valencia or something like that. No, I say it has to be either Madrid or Barcelona. And from what I heard, like Madrid has more like New York energy,
Mhm.
and Barcelona has more like LA energy. So since I'm from LA, obviously I wanna
Mhm.
pick somewhere that's like more similar. Is it similar? In some ways. Well, it's a lot colder in Spain, I would say. Like California is actually warm now. Right now it's still
Mhm.
chilly in Spain. Um yeah, I would feel that people are more relaxed. People are more about like leisure over here. Very common over here. People say like, "Oh, you know, I'm gonna go skiing. I'm gonna go hike. I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm gonna go surfing." Very common over here, kind of like
Mhm.
LA as well. So that's why, yeah, I do like it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be in Barcelona for like the next 10 years or whatever, because I do intend to go all the way to like get my Spanish passport and stuff. Unless I marry a girl, a local Spanish girl, which, I'm trying to do that, but I haven't met any suitable candidate yet. Uh, unless I do that and then I can get my passport in a year, that's gonna take me about 10 years. So I'm gonna be at least at the very
Oh.
minimum the next 10 years in Spain. I don't know
Oh.
if it's all 10 years is gonna be in Barcelona because eventually I want to try out Madrid as well. But for the next few foreseeable years, it's gonna be Barcelona. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no, that's interesting. That's interesting. And
Yeah.
no, but hey, look, marriage from you, who would have thought, eh? But obviously, it's for papers.
Uh, you know, you want to never say never, but American marriage. And first of all, when I speak against marriage, I'm talking about American marriage, and I'm mostly speaking about American family court. So American family court is very different from European family court, and I realized that in Europe it's a lot more clean cut. You don't have like crazy asset division and all that stuff, crazy alimony, crazy child support, all that stuff. Um, in continental Europe, it's actually better. So that's one thing. The second thing is prenups are also like sort of like respected a lot more. Like right here, if you register your prenup and you register it with the government, it's just going to be upheld. It's not like America where it's like up to the discretion of the family court judge would be like, this prenup seems a little unfair. I'm gonna set it aside. It's not like that. In Europe. So the other thing is that okay, this one might sound pretty bad, but like because my money, my assets, whatever I
Yeah.
own, is all in America. So if I get divorced in Spain, I mean, what do I have? I have a Spanish bank account with not much money in it, and what I don't have investments here. I have nothing. Like, so worst comes to worst, I mean, I just fuck back to America, and like, well, what are the Spanish courts gonna do? What are they gonna do? They're gonna extradite me or what? So that's the thing. I feel more comfortable getting married here if I have to, if I can find someone, because 1 year versus 10 years is a huge difference, you know?
Yeah.
We're not talking
I
about
know.
10 years and 8 years. We're talking about 1 year and 10 years. This is something worth thinking about, if I really want the Spanish passport, which I do, then that's all, like, all methods must be on the table. So this is something I'm always, like, constantly considering.
It's all right. It's like you got time, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not like you've got like a time clock to get babies, you know.
No, no,
Like,
no, absolutely not. That's a good thing. And the other good thing is it's a lot easier to get married as a guy than as a girl, right? Because,
yeah.
guys are the gatekeepers of commitment and girls are the gatekeepers of sex. So, I mean, but the thing about Spanish marriage is that you have to live with the woman for like 1-2 years. So
Hmm.
I don't know if I can do that yet, but let's see if I have to, I will.
Some some people go to prison for 1 2 years, you know. It's all
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, like, you know. So that's the plan.
Actually,
That's the plan.
so you said you went to France, right? You went to France for how long, and what was your feedback as a?
So I didn't
Oh,
go to
please
France.
don't. Okay, but
I
don't
didn't
hold
go to
back.
France to game, right? I went to
No, no,
France. I
no.
went to Montpellier. I don't know if you know the city,
No, I
Montpellier.
know Montpellier. Yeah, I know Montpellier.
Yeah. So I went there for like just 3 days. I went with a girl. I went with my fuck buddy. And it was great. It has a different vibe from Spain for sure. I feel like people are a bit colder over there. We went to a restaurant, we couldn't get served because we didn't speak French. That's terrible. I'm serious. It was terrible. It
Sorry,
was
French customer service is like zero. I tell you.
Yeah, they don't care, like so we say like well the girl's Spanish, right? She doesn't speak French either. So we'll be like parlez-vous anglais, un peu d'anglais. No. No, they'll be like, "Oh, he said something like, "Oh, my colleague will come. My colleague speaks English." And then 10 minutes later nobody came. Then we just got pissed and we left. Um, I think it might be different in Paris because maybe Paris they speak a little more English, but Montpellier
Oh
maybe it's
no,
like
no,
this.
no, no, no. Persian are the biggest dicks in general. But yeah, yeah. Thing is, to be honest, like in the areas of France, I find the people in the southwest of France are actually some of the nicest, if not the nicest area of France. So
Really?
Montpellier is in the southwest. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Well, that's
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Get
I don't
prepared
know
for worse. No, but the
because
thing
I was
is,
I was comparing. I could only compare it to Spain, and Spain is different. I mean, when I first came to Spain and I didn't really speak Spanish, you can try it in English and they'll be patient with you. In France, no, parlez-vous anglais? No, and then they walk away. Like what the fuck?
because we're still living in our former idea of grandeur and relevance. I mean,
Yeah, I
maybe I'll
know.
teach you. Maybe I don't know if you know this, right? But when France had, I forgot the name of the colony. 1/3 of America was French colony, right? Before Louis XV lost the war and basically sold it to the Brits. But the main language of the US was chosen by one vote to be English versus French. So by
Really, I
one
didn't know
vote,
that one.
yeah, by one vote, France could have been what you spoke. So obviously we have this idea of history and relevance. And obviously now we're just kind of like the old country in France of, the has been. And we still stick to that because that's kind of like our last prestige outside of just being some touristic country. But,
Right.
that's,
I do understand because like the Anglosphere and the Francosphere like they used to be like rivals, and
yeah, yeah.
it's not just America and France, it's also UK and France, right?
Oh, yeah.
So after the
Maybe,
defeat of Napoleon at Waterloo, it's like I'm not saying that France has declined, but compared
It has.
to Britain, it's not on the same level anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So
Napoleon was
ever since
peak
then,
and
I had the impression that the French are a bit salty about it.
oh, we're just kind of an arrogant bunch. Don't get me wrong. I mean,
Right.
so, but
Right.
they're not very smart because I remember I was working in hospitality when I was very young, right, in France, and it's like whenever there was an American, I was trying to make sure to be nice, and then I get nice tips. This guy was not, this guy was not smart with you. He should know better, because I know American love to tip.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, no, but outside of the poor service, nothing else. I mean, you colder, you'd
Um,
say.
the food is amazing. I mean, I was, surprised actually. Like, you can go into a random restaurant, the bread is amazing, the cheese is amazing, the wine is amazing, everything, the food, but you can't oof, are you fucking kidding me? Like, the food is really good. I mean, like, compared to Spanish food, French food, le top, the best. So, that's what I can say.
I mean, I remember I went to a normal brasserie, or maybe I don't know, brasserie. I don't know how you call it here.
Brasserie, yeah, yeah, brasserie,
Brasserie, right?
yeah,
And and I had like just a nice steak frite, meaning by that steak and French fries. The ribeye was better, and it cost me 15 euros a ribeye. Right, it was
yeah,
better than something that I would pay for 50 euros in the UK. And I was
yeah,
like, even
sure,
even Scottish fucking beef. And I
yeah,
was like, fuck this. It's like
yeah,
rubbish. They don't even know how to cook meat properly. But
yeah, yeah,
that's me. So you
yeah.
see, seems like we've got you sold on the European lifestyle.
I mean, for now,
Um,
yeah. I mean, one aspect that's still giving me a little bit like anxiety is the taxes, because I I
we gotta
I'm
fund the
registered.
lifestyle.
There's always a catch, right? There's always pros and cons. So I'm registered as what we call autonomo in Spain, which is considered like a self-employed freelancer. So I'm supposed to file taxes like every quarter, at the end of every quarter. So I know, right? So I have to file something called so there's two forms I have to file. One is called Modelo 303, and then the other one's called Modelo 130. So the first one is for taxes. The second one's for something called IVA, which is the VAT of Spain, value added tax, which is like 21%. So I'm kind of dreading that, but I have to do it. So I have to do it at the end of every quarter, and obviously the taxes in Spain are going to be higher than the taxes in America.
Even
The good thing
California?
is, yeah,
Even in California with state tax?
yeah,
Seriously? Oh, shit.
yeah, for sure, for sure, for sure. The taxes are going to be higher in Spain. So I'm a bit dreading that, but other than that, Europe is perfect. Other than that, yeah. But if I go through one cycle of that and I see that I'm not paying as much taxes as I expected, then maybe I'll be a little more relaxed. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, the taxes, and the bureaucracy here is it's a pain in the ass. But the bureaucracy I'm done with, because the first 2 3 months I've just been like running up and down like to a bunch of like offices to do this and then do that and do that. Like
Yeah,
it's a freaking internet age and everything has to be done in person. I don't understand. So
you know, I remember when I had to deal with some insurance, life insurance stuff from France with an insurance company that makes $2 billion of revenue, right? $2 billion euros of revenue. And they wanted me to basically they wanted me to print, to sign on each of those pages, right? And many times, and I had to go many times because, oh no, but you forgot this little thing. So I had to scan again, do all this again. And then the last time when it said, I'm saying, fuck this shit, I'm not doing it. And I basically wrote a complaint. It's like, you're a fucking $2 billion company that don't even use DocuSign. Get fucking real. I'm not basically talking, with your Politburo bullshit, because I'm done with it. I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
no, I'm not. It's like,
exactly. I feel like the bureaucracy is a little bit behind on the times here. People nowadays, DocuSign, they do like remote stuff. You can do a lot of things, even in America. But I think continental Europe, like Italy, France, Spain, it's still a little bit behind.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
you didn't have to sell to them because it's like I sold to US, I sold to the UK, I sold like the Club Med countries as we call them. Club Med is like sandals in the US. It's like it's very chill, it's very nice, but the problem is everything is very slow. That's why you have a nice lifestyle, but generally it ripples off
Yeah,
into
yeah, yeah,
everything else. So
yeah.
you have to have patience. I mean,
Sure.
UK is not too bad. It's not the same level of customer service and streamlining like the US, but you don't have the good weather. So really,
Like you
it's about the
say,
funny. Yeah,
yeah,
go on.
UK is in between continental Europe and US, right? It's sort of
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a mix
exactly.
of the two. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of like the right mix, except I'm tired of the fucking weather. So it's about gang, gang,
Oh,
gang, gang.
weather. Weather actually affects your mood so much. When
Oh
when
man.
when I first arrived in Barcelona, they had like a really bad like winter rainy season. It lasted like 2 weeks, and I it was so cold. First of all, because the insulation is shit in these old buildings. The second thing is that it's wet. It's wet like almost 24/7. You can't go anywhere. So I was asking the locals in Barcelona in my first month, is it gonna be like this for the rest of the winter? And they're like, no, 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 no. This happens in like once in 20 years. Barcelona, very warm, very sunny, whatever, right? So I was like a bit skeptical, but then January came and then yeah, the sun came out. Like right now, like it's really sunny. So I was glad that it finally, the sun finally picked up and it got warmer. Because I'd be
Well,
pissed if I was sold a bad bill of goods. I was told that Barcelona is sunny, Mediterranean, the beach. So
and if you have to say anything about, let's say, accommodation compared to where you've been, like you were in LA, like do you find that you got good value for money where you are in
sure,
Barcelona? And
sure.
yeah.
Um, so I pay less rent here, obviously. Um, I like the buildings here. They look really nice, and they usually have a French balcony. So if you want to take a smoke, you
Hmm.
want to drink coffee in the morning, I do that from time to time. And that's great. Um, in the US, it's not very common balconies unless you pay like a lot of money, right? Um, Other than that, I'm not really liking the fact that you have to walk like 4, 5, 6 stories if you live on the higher floors because the older buildings you have to walk, right? There's no like ascensor, there's no elevator. But the one thing that I can't fault is that you can just go downstairs. There's restaurants, bars, clubs, shops, supermarkets, everything within like 5, 10 minute walk. Like once I came to Barcelona, I got like a bus pass, and I don't think I've even refilled it like once or twice because everywhere I go, I type into Google Maps. I'm going to this place. It's 30 minute by bus. I'm like, okay, but let's look at walking. Walking is 19 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck? How does that work? But I think it's because of the traffic and everything and how the
uh,
city is built and everything. So if you take a bus or a train, it's gonna take like even more time than if you just walk through the maze. We were talking about cities like Barcelona. Barcelona has a history of more than 2,000 years. It's one of those old cities that were founded by the Romans. So a lot of the streets and buildings and everything, they're all close and clustered together because they were built before the
mhm.
automobile was invented, right? So everything is very walkable. Everything is like in these old cities, they always have like a square, like a plaza or like a square where like
Mhm. Yeah,
the
yeah.
old people meet back then. So right now as well. So if you live close to one of those squares, then it's everything is within walking distance. Like walking is like my number one mode of transportation now. I barely even take the train. That's what's
And,
amazing about
and
a
you come
city.
and you come from LA where you need to
LA,
have a
you can't
car.
walk to nowhere. To go to the supermarket, I have to drive. Just the fucking supermarket. Go to the gas station, I have to drive. Well, obviously, going to the gas station, I have to drive. But everywhere, you're like LA. What can you walk to? Okay, maybe you can walk to the park, but that's it. Because LA is very spread out. You want to go to your favorite restaurant. You can't walk there. I mean, you walk there, it's gonna take like 15 minutes, or you can drive for like 5 minutes. What do you want? So here, I just walk. I walk everywhere. I walk to the bars. I walk to the clubs, and that is perfect for logistics. If you go to a bar and you tell a girl, well, you can come back to my place and hang out. If you want. It's a bit noisy here. It's a bit more cozier in my place. And then she'll be like, okay, how far is your place? And I'll be like, aha, it's only 10 minutes walk. And then let's go. And let's go. If it's America, it's like, oh, it's a 30-minute drive. It's like, nah.
Yeah,
So
it's like nah.
logistics is a lot better here.
Yeah, no, it goes to show, right? I mean, like thing is also another thing. If I'm in America, it's like such like a car culture, and it's like when you're used to just walking around, walking distance, like car is just for long travel. You know, say you want to go like Montpellier or something like that. Yeah, it's kind of
Sure.
it's getting addictive, man.
No, I
you,
mean, if
you
you
may
think
not
about
want.
it logistically, for example, if you go to you meet a girl at a bar, right? You have a date with a girl at a bar. She drove there, you drove there. If you want to go to your place together, you're gonna be in your car together. What's she gonna do with her car? You know, is she gonna does she have a meter that's running, or well, you know, you
Yeah.
have to worry about that stuff. But if in Spain, it's like okay, she took the train, I walked there, so all right, later, either you can take the train back or you can stay the night. So the other thing that's more common here is that I feel that it's more common for the girls to stay over here. Like if they miss the train and I just offer them to like sleep over and they'll sleep over. And that's
It's a
not
good
very common in
excuse.
America because in America you can
Yeah,
always drive back.
yeah, yeah.
Even
And
if
it's
it's
like
like 2 a.m., you can still drive back. But here it's like, oh, the girl will be like, oh, well, I have to work tomorrow, but I'll probably take the first train at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. But can I sleep here tonight? I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah.
so it's chill, and it's kind of like, oh, you
It's
just
chill.
couch surf. But you see, it's a whole different mindset when you come to Europe and versus the States. Well, even in business, even in just it's really changed your outlook on life,
Yeah.
and you're like,
And I've only been here for so many months, only 3 months, but I can feel like the environment and the people and the culture like totally changing the way I behave and the way I think and the way I do things. Yeah. So it's
yeah,
it's it's amazing how much impact that your environment has on you.
oh, so
Yeah.
much, so
So
much.
when people yeah, go
Like
ahead.
no, 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 no. It's like it's like when you go on a date, right? Like because I mostly did night game myself, right? For the same reason why you fucking love that shit, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, everything is so flowy, everything is so nice, everything like boom, 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 boom. There's none of the bullshit agenda, front loading, blah, blah, blah bullshit, right? And it's like you go on a date and you see the same fucking girl, and then she gonna give you like that. "Oh, I'm not that type of girl." Like, bitch, come on, I've seen you there. It's like stop bullying me the bullshit.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like how literally it's kind of like date. Oh, it's so serious, and it's like you meet her on a night out, and it's like two different people, two different situations, and it's very important when it comes to dating to really appreciate that the environment defines the dynamic beyond the person more like 90% of the time, and
Absolutely.
it's like right place, right time is going to be the main reason why
Absolutely.
things happen.
Absolutely. Like you say, you can approach a girl in an event or a social gathering where she has her friends and family around, versus if you approach a girl where nobody else is around. She's going to behave totally differently. That's why so many guys can get like such easy lays from dating apps because dating apps, nobody knows nobody. I don't know your circle. You don't know my circle. We can do it and then pretend that we never did it, you know? So that's the
Yeah,
magic of it.
it's almost
Reputation.
like, yeah, it's almost like social hierarchy equalizer in the sense of
Sure.
like you could be low social class, go to a high social class. You can be a high social class, going to low
Yep.
social class. It's like
Yep.
the perfect Marxist breaking of the social class. Who
Yep.
would have thought social apps, dating apps. But anyway, whatever. I hope I don't take too much of your time. I know that we
No, no, no.
discussed that. You
We're
know,
good.
okay, okay, perfect, perfect. Well, I don't know if I had anything else that I wanted to ask you for a question, but if you have anything that that you wanted to kind of like talk about what you've seen in terms of you know being on the field, on the market, right? Not necessarily very much personal to you, but like obviously it does help if it is, but just something that you see has been the major shift, major changes over the past years or year.
Okay, for obviously I can't talk about Spain because I've only been here for a while,
Hmm.
a short while. For America, like I say, it's becoming very hostile, very adversarial. Even the girls who previously, like I said, would just go along with the alpha guys, they start to put up like barriers. They start to
Hmm.
put like defenses. So, like I say, if that gets too bad in America, well, get out of America, right? You don't have to stay in America. That's why I always tell guys. So I would, if I were to end off, I would say, if you're not getting the results that you want where you are, consider definitely moving to a different place and trying your luck over there. So your environment is everything. It's not just different kinds of girls, but also like I said, the environment changes the way you think, changes the way you behave, changes the way you conduct yourself. And all those are variables. And when you have been trying very hard to be successful in one place, and you've been like how do I say, like micro optimizing this, micro optimizing that, it's like it's not big enough of a change. You have to like nuke the entire blueprint and then start totally new in like a completely different place with completely different people, completely different tactics and strategies. And that way you're changing like, 50 to 100 variables at once. Then you're going to have a radically different result. I'm not saying that you're going to have a radically better result, but you'll have a radically different result. And that's worth the risk. That's worth trying out. So if you're stuck in America, if you're stuck in, I don't know where people are, if you're stuck in Europe or Eastern Europe or whatever, Africa, whatever, right? You get the hell out of there. Get the hell out of there. Make it your mission in life to move to somewhere different where there will be more opportunities for people of your kind. Yeah.
Yeah, don't major in minors, basically. Don't major in minors, and understand what you're looking for. Where is you're looking for is at, and make the necessary moves in order to be settled, like you have in Spain. And because really, and what I find so great about your story, right? We talk about narrative, about dating and everything, but it's actually even your personal narrative, right? Because
Yes.
it's like, I remember the version of you before and the version of you now. I mean, as you said, you have that core hard line that you're not changing, right? But you kind of put a little bit of, as we say in French, de l'eau dans son vin, meaning by that, pour some water in your wine. It kind of dilutes the strength, the core of the wine type of stuff. So it's just kind of like makes it a little bit more drinkable, right? Yeah, and I see that, and it's just, you're the
I
perfect
like that.
example. Yeah, but you're the perfect example of how how exposure to the different environment actually makes you a fuller version of yourself. It's not about changing you, it's about giving you the necessary perspective. The same way, for example, I speak in English, but actually today I did something. I put a voice clip and I went on ChatGPT and I said, okay, can you define what my accent is? And it said 55% French, 25% British, 15% American, and 5% international, whatever. And you know what was interesting? I never told anything to ChatGPT about where I've been, I mean, outside of just being in London. He doesn't know I'm French, whatever. I guess you can guess. But the point being is, my influence has been because I lived in the UK, I lived in France, I lived in the US. And each of those experiences, especially for a long period of time, oh no, I didn't want to go for 2 weeks, 2 weeks on holiday, it doesn't mean shit, right? Like, you lived there, puts an imprint on you and how you're going to become. And then, you know, you can still remain consistent as a person, but you'll have those different things. That's why I can get on with an American very easily. I can get on with a British very easily. I can get on with, well, French people sometimes, but I'm joking. I'm joking. But for example, I mean, Eastern Europeans sometimes have a little bit, because I don't really go there. I mean, I've been with many of them, but long term, I can't have that vibe. I can't have that banter. But say if I lived there for long enough, I know I would, right? And it's like, now you're Latin compatible. I mean, look, maybe what's gonna happen next time we see you? Well, you
I
gonna
don't
what?
know. I mean, right now, like I always tell my Twitter audience is that I'm on my social and night game arc. So I don't know if I'm gonna run out of steam or get bored on this thing, but this is what I'm gonna be doing for like the next year or two, foreseeably.
Mhm.
And then we'll see what happens next,
And then
We'll see
you're
what
gonna
happens.
post a picture of yourself in your marriage because you want that passport, like that guy. It's like,
We'll see what happens with that one. Like
okay.
I mean, that's something I'll do, but that's not something I'll announce on my page because
Yeah.
like that would be way too incongruent with the
I know,
person
I
that
know, I
you
know.
you know what I mean?
I know, I
That
know,
would
I
be
know, I know, I
crazy.
know.
Yeah.
Hey,
That'll
you never
be
know.
that'll
You
be
know,
like
I
there'll be a mass
I
unfollowing if I do that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But obviously there are other reasons to it. And it's for people to have the intelligence to understand. Anyway, it's funny. It's like the last insane move that you can make is marriage, right? So, final
Yep.
boss, final
Yep.
boss. Well, anyway, if you have any type of message that you'd like to give to send to the audience, feel free to say it. And
I mean, you can follow me on Twitter. My username is Aruvin, Aruvin, Chan, Chan. Um, and subscribe to my newsletter. There's a link in my profile. I send my I write my newsletter by hand every week, like every week. So I send out on Wednesday, which is today, and I write whatever that is most like most insightful or like a most important learning point of the week. So because I go out all the time, I'm like one of those guys who is not just like a retired playboy or whatever. I'm literally actively in the field and I go
mhm.
out a lot of nights in a week. So I'm sharing it from the perspective of someone who is very active in the field and also from the perspective of someone who has seen both European and American dating and Asian as well, actually. I've lived in three places. Um so I mean if you're interested in that stuff, if you're interested in strategies and tactics and insights on how to be a better man and be more successful in dating in 2026 because my experience is current, then yeah, definitely subscribe to my newsletter.
All right, perfect, perfect. Well, give me the link and I'll put down on the pod. I'll put my newsletter on the pod, I mean, underneath the description. So
Perfect.
yeah, perfect. Well, anyway, Arvin, pleasure to see to have you
Likewise.
back here, and I love the
Likewise.
fucking
Always a
story.
pleasure speaking with you.
I'm glad to hear, but I love good stories, and this is a really good story.
Eh,
On that note, guys, you'll see me soon enough with another guest. So thank you for following, and Arvin, to another time.
All right. See you.
See you.